I still would not have voted for you because you're an Indian. We'll get back to that.
Hello, everybody. Guys, we got Vivek Ramaswamy on the PBD show. They're talking about race and the right-wing party. This is just insane what happens here.
But for the first time, we're having
Is it right here?
live form conversation in the offline sense of it. It's Ann Coulter. So, Ann, thanks for coming on, and I'm looking forward to our conversation today.
Me too. Thanks for having me. That was a fantastic opening monologue. I, too, am a fan of yours. So I'm going to make a point of disagreeing with you so that it will be fun. You are so bright and articulate, and I guess I can call you articulate since you're not an American black. Can't say that about them. That's
God, look at that big laugh and big smile by Vivek. He's a racist little worm himself. This is how a lot of the right-wing party thinks. These guys are gross. And Ann Coulter making that statement, right? Black people are playing the victim. This is the same thing PBD said on my video 4 days ago. These guys are truly repugnant.
That's derogatory. And that was a great opening segment. Lots of things to talk about there. Oh, and I agreed with many, many things you said during, in fact, probably more than most other candidates when you were running for president. But I still would not have voted for you because you're an Indian. We'll get back to that.
Look at that face on Vivek now when they're talking about him. This is how people are. Right, it's that close the door behind me mentality. As long as they're not talking about me, why should I care? These guys are gross, so I don't have much sympathy for Vivek here, right? Because he empowers these people. But let's fast forward. They're just going to go into why Vivek started this podcast and why he decided to have this monster Ann Coulter on. Let's get to that.
Description of whether or not you're an Indian. I'm born in the United States. I'm as American as they come. But I thought it actually formed a really...
Oh, Vivek. Don't you know that the right wing will never see you truly as an American? They won't. A lot of the right wing party, MAGA, Trumpists, they'll see your skin color and your name, no matter how much you try, no matter how many generations of your family line is here. Right? They just won't see you as an equal, as a white person. But Vivek is smart. He knows this. He's a MAGA cultist who wants power, right? And he latched under Trump in order to gain this following. He knows what's going on here. PBD knows what's going on here. These guys are just willing to sell their soul for a couple dollars or power.
Strong basis for an honest conversation that we otherwise don't have. Because her view is that in order to actually be a U.S. president, you got to be even more American, right? So you're not fully American if your parents weren't from the United States of America. And in order to trust somebody, the more generations they've been here, let's say you've been here 6 or 7 generations, you have more of what she would call, I think she did call it in the podcast, a security policy. It's like an insurance policy that you know that if you're going to put somebody in that high office, at least you know that they've really, really soaked up what it means to be American. Now, I disagree with that. I disagree with that because you have people in the 7th generation Americans who are the kids of some...
Guys, PBD is laughing there because he knows that Vivek is tiptoeing around this, right? Because he doesn't want to lose that MAGA following, that Republican following. These guys are gross. He won't call them out on that. But he'll call out Roland Martin, right? On nonsense, on BS, honestly.
I've known many of these people. Grow up in the Upper East Side. Some daughter who lives in Brooklyn thinks she's a hippie, talks about hating this country. Well, I don't think that person's any more American than I am just because my parents happen to have been legal immigrants to this country.
So I got 2 questions for you.
But it made for a good conversation.
I got 2 questions for you with this, okay? On one end, how many people you think are like, if you were to say, of the voters block, what percentage of the voter block agrees with her?
So say in the Republican primary?
In the Republican primary to say, you know what, I'm not going to, even if it's 1%, 2%, 3%, what do you think it is?
So I will tell you this with confidence. It is a lot higher than I believed it was a year ago.
Interesting.
Yeah. And it's a lot higher than I believe you would think it is, too.
Interesting.
Which is why, and I said this on social media, and some people hit me on the...
You hear PBD? Interesting. He's such a clown. This guy knows. This newfound wisdom. Wow, really? There's racism on the right wing, and it's pretty prevalent? Dear Lord.
From it, I said I respect her for saying it, even though I disagree.
Right.
Because at least she has the spine to say in public what many other people, not a majority, not even close to a majority, but a lot of people She's not alone. She is voicing a view that I think is widespread. And actually, what the hell? We're here. We're just gonna let loose a little bit. I had somebody text me who had run for position. You guys might know her, Harmeet Dillon. You know Harmeet Dillon?
Of course, yeah, absolutely.
Harmeet's super cool, so I hope she's fine with me saying this because I think it's important that the public know. We can't just have these conversations behind closed doors, not having them in the open. Said that when she ran for her position of being the chairwoman of the RNC, she had many people tell her the same thing too, which is interesting to me because most of the grassroots was, a lot of the grassroots were with me. A lot of grassroots were with people like Harmeet. There are people who believe that if you're electing people to positions of leadership, how American you are is a spectrum.
When you were
Guys, this is insane. These guys just finally had an epiphany of what's going on. This is truly amazing to me.
out there campaigning, did anybody face you, confront you, and say, I would totally support you, but you're too brown for me? Did anyone say
So
that?
I had any of those for religion. So I didn't have anybody come up and say that because of, well, there were people on social media who would make an argument. It wasn't on a...
You hear this? And he was going to say, or he is going to say that it's people come to him about saying his Hindu background, and they wouldn't vote for him for that. I'm sorry, but these people are not going to tell you directly in your face, oh, I'm not going to vote for you because you're brown. They're just not going to do that. Most people are more civil than that, even the racist ones. Right? But they will say, oh, well, I'm a Christian. Come on now. You think if he was a Christian and he still looked exactly the same, that wouldn't matter to these people? Get the F out of here.
Ethnicity. And this is part of Ann's point, too. It's the point that your parents were immigrants to this country. And so you are truly not at the highest level of being American to be president of the United States.
Right.
So we had a number of people that would say that occasionally.
You're not a pure blood.
Much more common one, though, for people to my face was, I would love to vote for you. It's difficult for me to vote for somebody else because I agree with you more, but I can't do that because you are Hindu. That came up a lot, especially in Iowa.
Even the town hall when we did, somebody asked you, one of the ladies got up and
remember that. I remember
they
that
asked
too.
you the
Yep.
question, and I thought your answer was fantastic.
But I remember her. I was standing on stage. She was standing right there, very thoughtful.
Yes.
I don't think she was in the category of saying I can't vote for
No,
you.
she didn't say
She
that.
asked a very legitimate question.
She did.
She said, tell me about your faith.
That's right.
Because if you're running...
All right, guys, I'm going to leave it there. But, yeah, these people are smarter. They're not going to say, oh, you're Indian or you're brown, I'm not going to vote for you. They're going to find something like, oh, it's because you're Hindu. Most people won't say that. But, guys, leave comments down below. Please consider subscribing, liking if you got something from this video, and I'll catch you in the next one. I post just about one video every day. Every day of the week. See ya.